Behold, there is magic all around us. Behold, there is magic all around us. Behold, there is magic all around us. Awaken, rejoice, and sing.
Hi, Dancing Rabbit here, and welcome to another weekend edition of the Pagan Perspective. This week's question has to do with limiting personal gains in healing spells done for a close friend or loved one. I've been thinking about this question really all week, and I wasn't exactly sure how to answer it because I wasn't exactly sure what the questioner meant by personal gain. Normally, I would think of personal gain as being monetary or power or fame, ego boosting, and I wasn't really sure how that would relate to a healing spell done for someone that you care about. I mean, it's not like I'm going to do a healing spell on national TV and become famous or charge someone the big bucks to do a healing spell. I think that maybe what we're talking about is doing a healing spell for someone to heal them because you want them to be healed. You want them to be all better. And sometimes that's not the best thing for them. I know this may seem a little cold or cruel or maybe even morbid, but everybody dies at some point. Everybody dies in some way. For example, both my parents died several years ago of two different forms of lung cancer. And while I did some spell work during their illness, I never did any spell work to cure them of cancer or to stop the disease or to delay the disease's progress. I guess part of it is that I felt it was a little bit presumptuous that I could, just by casting a spell, do something that doctors and people who have a whole lot more power and knowledge than I do would be unable to do. But secondly, like I said, everybody dies at some point and in some way, and there are worse ways to go. There are ways that are just plain different, and they may not be absolutely worse, but they have advantages and disadvantages. For example, one of my uncles died very suddenly in a fishing accident. His boat turned over. He foolishly didn't have a life preserver on and drowned before he reached bank. He had no time to say goodbye to anybody, no time to make final preparations. Whereas my parents had 6 months and a couple of years to do all that. And although it was hard seeing them go downhill and seeing them not be able to do things and continually get a little bit worse, it did have the advantage that we were able to have some really productive long visits and get a lot of stuff done that we otherwise couldn't have done. I've also been with grandparents who had very slow declines into dementia and spent their last months, their last years in nursing homes basically not even knowing who they were. And I think if you've got to go, that may be one of the worst ways to go. An experience that I had last year with a guy who's probably my best and not oldest but most long-term friend had stomach cancer, and he was going to have surgery for this. I asked his permission if I could do a series of spells for him. I consulted with my Brujo, Crazy Boy TX, about the type spells that might be appropriate and just any advice that he could give me. What I settled on was a series of candle magic spells. During the waxing moon coming up to his surgery, I cleansed, dressed, and lit a white candle each day, and the intent, the visualization, was to send energy and strength into his body. After full moon, I did something very similar, except I used black candles, and the intent was to draw the pain and the hurt from his body. Now, these spells were not intended to push or pull something into myself, but into the candle. I wore my Corindaro beads that Crazy Boy TX had given me for just a little extra added something, and my friend came through the surgery just fine. And so far, and it's always a matter of time of saying, well, we're not cured, but you're cancer-free at the moment. He's presently doing well, back at work, and currently cancer-free. So, did my spell cause this to be a successful surgery? No, I don't think that I can take credit. I think that his surgeons, his oncologist, should take the vast bulk of the credit, and he should take the credit for having the strong will to go through it and to endure all of the pain after the surgery. And then there's the element of just plain luck. Some things are successful and some aren't, through no apparent cause that anyone can find. But I think that I would have felt really bad, really like I had neglected or let my friend down if I had just stood by and done nothing. So I did what I could. The idea with that type of spell is not to raise just this huge amount of energy and then channel it out to do what it's supposed to do, but to slowly wear away, and each repetition of the spell adds just a little more. So I think that that spell honestly was not done for any sort of personal gain. I didn't receive any fame or fortune or great boost to my own ego through doing it, nor did I do it just so I could still have my friend around. I did it because it was something that he wanted me to do, and I think that I did it in a proper and an ethical way. Like I said at the beginning, I was not really sure exactly how to answer this question because of what was to me unclear nature of it. So I hope I've gotten close. I hope I've given you a couple of good examples of how I feel about doing healing spells. Get the person's permission first and foremost. Set some realistic goals. Make sure you're doing what that person wants and not what you want. And to do it repeatedly, to do it consistently, and to hope for good results in the end. Whether the person is healed, cured of the disease, or not, that they feel better, that they have a better life, and ultimately, one day, a better death. Till next weekend, or maybe the weekend after next, because I think that we're coming up on sub-week. This is Dancing Rabbit, wishing you and yours peace.